I remember our banker was like, you need to go work for somebody else. I feel like that just kind of lit a fire in me. I'll show you. Can't do everything, yourself.
What do you mean? Are you the biggest in your market?
I would say yes. I don't really worry about our competition that much. They don't have the same ethics and they don't have the same values. And that's one of the main things that sets us apart.
What are the passing lessons here for people starting off in the trades?
Who equals money? That's just the name of the game. You have to invest in the people. Slow to hire, quick to fire. It's not a bad thing. Oh, I have one more too.
Welcome back to Owned and Operated. I'm your host, John Wilson. I'm the CEO of Wilson Plumbing in Stowe, Ohio. And today I'm joined on the show by Laura and Brian Beltz. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
This is fun. Yeah, I don't get to talk to a lot of married couple partners, and I don't get to talk to a lot of people in Ohio. So we're checking off some boxes today. This will be fun. I'd love to hear a little bit about the start of Beltz. How did that look? A little bit of background on the company and then where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started the business in 2001 and I went to the Navy out of high school and was an electrician in the Navy. So I got out of the Navy, moved back to Findlay and started working for a service company doing electrical, picked up plumbing and heating and cooling as well. And my boss at the time said, all these systems work together, so you have to do all of these things. And it was the same thing in the Navy. We worked on all of the systems. So I didn't know any better. I was just young and I didn't know any better. So we started off doing all of the trades.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I was in that young phase where I had a young daughter, newly married and house and broke and wanted to make more money.
Yeah.
And, I went to the boss and asked him about that. And he said that he pays the best in town. And, so I wanted to make more money. I had an entrepreneurial seizure and decided to open my business up. Mm-hmm. And I think it was 16 years later, we started to make, started to make money, that cycle.
Are you still running your referral program with spreadsheets and Venmo? Well, Volca is going to bring your referrals into the 21st century. It's a referral program on steroids. It's fully automated with Service Titan integration, SMS functionality, and built-in tracking and payments. No more writing checks or guessing what's working, just clean, consistent growth. Owned and operated listeners get 10% off of all contracts. Just book time with Don or the team through the custom link in the description. Volca, automated referral programs for home service companies.
That's really where I got started. I joined in to Nexstar. I was Contractors 2000 at the time, back in 2003, and things were moving really fast. We were super busy and cheap. We didn't know what the heck we were doing.
Was it always service or was new construction?
We started doing new construction as well as service and playing that game.
Yeah.
Dabbled.
And dabbled
money.
All of the stuff to anything to pay the bills.
Yeah.
Just like any new business like that.
Yeah.
And anyhow, Laura joined me in 2008 and with her marketing background, and we joined forces going forward to really grow the business and really implement all of the Nexstar processes instead of dabbling.
What he forgets to tell people is when I came on the scene, I'm like, well, what kind of marketing do you have? And, oh, well, I have a yellow page ad and I have the trucks wrapped, and I'm like, and that was it. That was all he had. So I kind of couldn't help myself. I got sucked into it. I had my own design company. So I had literally no desire, no interest in joining the company and jumping on board, but I couldn't even help myself. I mean, I think the trades just kind of get in your blood and suck you in. And so helping him and create, all the marketing, and I just took over. I didn't really give him a choice. I just took over everything and went from there. And And it's been amazing to see kind of our journey of where we've come from and where we are now.
Yeah. When you joined in, how many people were on the team?
3.
Yeah, there's 3 of us.
And that's like
Me,
you, someone in the field,
another guy in a truck, and somebody answering the phone.
Yep. And then team size now
49. I think.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. Well, in like we didn't talk about much where you are, but like south of Toledo, so like fairly rural community. So like, yeah, that's a lot of people for a
it's
fairly rural community.
Very rural area. We on average, there's a lot of different areas that we pick up. We can go 50 miles outside.
Wow.
I mean, it's a lot of.
Well, it's 50 miles. Is that like you're right on 80? So is that an hour or is that 2 hours? Like how long is 50 miles?
That's about an hour.
Okay. Will you typically go beyond an hour?
Sometimes.
A little bit, but the majority of our business is in, in one town and one county.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So within a 20-minute, travel area. I think the population it's under 100,000, 80,000 maybe population.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
When we picked up the secondary business a little bit further to the north, we picked up in a whole nother area. So that's been kind of interesting and figuring out how we're going to staff that and potentially, grow that area and that business. Yeah. That's been a very interesting process.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So the first 9 years, 10 years, we're working hard and
grind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Laura comes in, we start implementing Nexstar. Sounds like there was an acquisition in there. So that was the first 9 years. What happened in the next 15? Like what's happened since then?
Well, the acquisition was actually
beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. This is very fresh.
Yeah. Very fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know. We were using some of Nexstar, kind of dipping our toe, doing the service system, but not really diving in fully, going to super meetings, seeing these amazing companies and, we're going to go home and we're going to implement this and we're going to do this. And we didn't. And I think we were just so busy with the daily grind that we just didn't take the time. I don't just trying to just pay the bills.
When you're in that grind for so long, it's very easy to. I remember our banker. I think we were trying to get a loan or secure a line of credit, and I remember him looking at me and looking at our books and our numbers. It was like, you need to go work for somebody else. This doesn't work. You're not. This isn't profitable, and I don't know what you're doing. And I don't know. I feel like that just kind of lit a fire in me. Like, I'll show you. And so, really we went to a couple of other Nexstar shops. I think a lot of it was in our head. You hear a lot that this is, you can't do that in our area, and we're in a smaller rural area. Yeah. So I believe I bought into a lot of that.
Yeah.
That you can't use the systems. That works great in a bigger area, in a bigger town. So we went to a couple of other Nexstar shops that were in smaller areas than us and just rocking it. And they weren't doing anything special. They were just using all of the tools that we have access to. And we decided, let's use all of the tools. And that's really when we started to grow.
What were the big ones that come to mind? I mean, it sounds like service system, like a sales process, basically.
Yeah, just using the process.
Yep.
Just basically drinking the Kool-Aid. Like, quit trying to reinvent the wheel. It's all right there. Nexstar has the whole entire process, the whole entire business model. Just do it. Stop thinking that people smarter than you that have been in business longer than you don't know what they're talking about. They do. They know what they're talking about. Just do it. And I don't mean to literally be kind of a commercial for Nexstar, but I mean,
it helps.
It's literally the reason that we found success. And, for us to look at each other one day and be like, I don't know if we can do this anymore. And then as soon as we implement those processes, then magically, it's not magic. It's just follow the process and the results will come. And being consistent. I mean, that's the big key, because you can't just follow it sometime and then, slack off. It's every day, every single day in every department. Everybody has to be pulling pulling their weight and doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Over the past, like, I guess 14 years, 15 years since really like pushing hard on Nexstar, like biggest, any like acquisition that's going to be a game changer? Or like, are you guys on Service Titan? What are the level up changes that we've seen inside the business?
Leadership team and people, I think, has been the biggest change. Right? You can't do everything, yourself, and you got to get
what do you mean
people around.
I think that was probably a realization, though, is like, I felt like in the early years, he thought, I think, that he could have just gotten in the truck and just worked and worked and worked and worked and eventually pulled it off. And I think you get to a certain size where you just can't do that anymore. You're not physically able to go to that many calls. You have to start growing your people. So in turn, they do what they're supposed to be doing, and they can grow more people. I mean, that's just the nature of the business, and realizing that you can't be the only person that carries that drive, that you have to make sure that your team is just as driven and understands the purpose behind what you're doing. Because, we'll sales, fantastic, but the name of the game is helping people. Because if you're helping people, then eventually the sales will come. It just will. Because your name gets around. People respect what you do. They trust what you do. And therefore it ends up you get more business. Because there's so many fly-by-night companies out there. There's so many one man in a truck, one woman in a truck. They don't have the same ethics, and they don't have the same values. And I think that's one of the main things that sets us apart, is the way we treat our customers and the way that we treat our employees. And, he's talking about bringing on our operations manager and our implementation manager. They were extremely key in getting our alignment to where it needs to be with our people internally. And then therefore that shows through to the customer. Just like a well-oiled machine amongst all the key players. Yeah.
What size did you bring on, the operations manager or director of ops?
Director of operations.
Want to make sure I get it right.
So that was right about a little over 5 million.
Okay.
And I feel like I was able to just will the business to 5 million. And
3 to 5 is a brutal slog.
It's a grind.
3 to 5. Yeah, we call it the hell zone or something on the show. It's awful.
Okay.
It's all. I mean, it's a well-known fact.
I feel like the 5 to 10 where we're
starting to get fun. Yeah,
it can start to get fun, but I feel like we had a lot of hell that we maybe ignored in the in shoving through to the 3 to 5 range. That reared its head, trying to get to the next level.
I think COVID helped with that too.
I was going to ask about the COVID years.
Yeah. Well, we had some pretty rich years, basically. But I would say when the money stopped coming, when the government subsidies stopped and you had people spending less money and all that gravy train kind of came to a halt, then all the problems that you could kind of ignore because money is coming in suddenly become these giant red flags, and you can't ignore them anymore. You have to actually do something about them.
Yeah.
There was multiple factors, I think.
Yeah. I was listening to Chad Peterman's show, and I don't remember which episode it was. I'll have to try to find it, but it talked about that. Because they started COVID at like 20 million, and they ended COVID at like 85 or 90. Like it was absolutely insane for like a 36-month period.
Well, you had all these people who were at home. Using all of these, all of the systems in their house so much more than they were before. So it was like magic.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
I feel like
is revenue higher now than it was in COVID for you guys?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like the process and some of the fundamentals were lost or overlooked. When you have a lot of business coming in and you have money rolling in, you kind of ignore some of those. But I really feel like that was some of the areas that we really started to focus on.
Sounds like in the last year or two. Yeah, I think so. I think most people are in like a recalibration. Yeah. Growth's no longer 100%. Year over year growth is 10 to 30 or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to get better Yeah. When did we drive EOS into the business?
It's been 2015.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well
So it's been 10
established.
years.
Yeah, it's kind of ingrained.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what was how do you think it's helping you today versus 10 years ago?
We've had a lot of practice at it, so I feel like we're a lot better at it now.
Yeah.
And it's a normal cadence that we have. It's
Yeah.
what we do, on a daily, weekly and monthly, quarterly basis.
Yeah.
I think it makes you more willing to, instead of just come with a problem and have no solution, like people are already ready to solve instead of just complain. So I think it gives more clarity than we probably would have had. It gives a process to actually solve things. And I think too, along the way, especially with the leadership team, it's given an area where they could improve their own leadership skills in their departments and given them some tools to do that as well.
It also it doesn't allow us to lose focus of what we're trying to accomplish, in a quarter or in the year, the daily fires and the daily things that go on within the business. We get to refocus at least every week.
Yeah. And there's 5 leaders in EOS, like in your...
No, our leadership team, we have 6, 7 altogether.
Okay.
In our leadership team.
How many L10s a week? I don't think I've... Okay.
Yep. We do 1 a week.
Yeah. That was one of the gaps that we had with EOS. We're 4 years into it, end of 2021. And one of the challenges was we couldn't keep up with the amount of L10s that had to happen, which they don't really explain that to you during onboarding or in the book. But at one point it was 14 L10s a week.
Oh my god.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, because it's supposed to be, you fully roll it through the whole organization, you cascade messages and you do this whole thing. And, people just didn't have time to do their jobs. So right now, I think we now run 4, and that has felt pretty healthy for us. It's, senior leadership team, and that's like directors. And then the frontline leaders have some under that. And then we might have 5 because a few of the support teams like marketing has one, HR has one. Okay. But at one point 14, because it was call center had one, dispatch, everybody had one. It was just so much.
We're working on our second L10 with the managers and the department leaders.
I think we had to get the right people in the management positions to even, disseminate that down. It was like I said, we feel like we've got the team. So there was a lot of time over those years where we did not have the right people in the seat, and you can't push that down if you can't get the right person in that seat. So
it's a game changer. Once you feel like you're there. Yeah,
we're doing a lot with communication in our huddle and then our check-ins middays and
daily huddle.
And that's resolving a lot of the issues that come up just because we're dealing with them right away.
Yeah. We actually don't talk as we probably should. We don't talk as tactical as daily huddle on here very often. So I'd love to hear about your daily huddle. What's that look like?
It's very specific. We do 10 minutes. It's 9:03, and that's when we start, and we do it
on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make it a little bit different, but we have. It's grown over the years, and we stole a spreadsheet from another member, and we modified that to go through all of our different departments, and we have it tied in with our budget. We have the field managers that will call in and participate as well. So from out in the truck or if they're in the office, and it's just we run it really efficient. And we've gotten a lot better at doing a quick job of reporting the numbers of what happened yesterday, celebrating wins, and but it's more focused on what are we doing today to cover the gap and what commitments do we have
To win the day.
to win the day. But it just takes it. I mean, I think back to, I don't know, 5 years ago when we were doing
Yeah.
the huddle, and it was terrible. We used to call it a muddle.
Yeah.
Just because we just muddled through it.
Yeah.
Not even sure. I think we spent most of the time just reporting what we did yesterday and trying to figure out those numbers. And we would just let the day happen.
Yeah.
Now we're attacking the day at 9 o'clock.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of those, whether you're talking about EOS or that, it's practice.
Mhm.
It's like anything else. The more you do it and the
Yeah.
more people get on board with it, the easier it becomes. And then it's second nature, and you don't necessarily have to think about what you should be talking about. You already know.
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of funny. I remember like we first got on EOS and they told us it'd be a 2 or 3 year implementation. And you're like, how? And like 4 years in, we're like, we still don't do that. Yeah.
That's true.
Have you guys looked at scaling up yet?
What do you mean? No.
So their scaling up is like a slightly different version of EOS.
Okay. No.
Mm-mm.
It's a rabbit hole. It's kind of interesting. If you have Spotify Premium, the audiobook is free.
Okay.
Okay.
So there you go. But EOS was really helpful for us for like how are we meeting, how are we solving all the stuff you just said. Meeting, solving problems, what's our pulse? What the challenges are that we have felt. And I don't know when people start feeling this, but I've heard, a variety of sizes. I think it's head count, like 150 EOS becomes a little bit more challenging. And part of it is like, you don't cover all the problems. So EOS is like, let's solve problems. And what that usually means is let's solve operational problems. Like we're not going to solve, we might, but it's not set up to solve cash flow problems with a leadership team.
Right.
And it's not set up to solve, like people problems, because the people in that room might be the people problem. So they're not really set up to do that, but scaling up is set up to do that. So it's a very similar like mechanic, like how you meet, how you pulse, how you do daily huddles. But it's worth a read. Even if you don't fully implement, it does sort of hit some of the other stuff. So we're getting ready to move from EOS to scaling up. And the 4 pillars are leaders. Like how do you continually develop and bring on new leaders? What's your pipeline? What's your infrastructure? Are you built to scale? Like, do you have the software stack, the automation, whatever? What's your strategy or execution? Like, do you have one? And then is it good? So step 1, step 2 there. And then the final one is cash, which that has been interesting for us. Like, and you guys will feel this too if you don't now, but we never used to talk about cash or like net with leaders. Are you guys doing that?
Yeah, we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We didn't. And then we started going like full open book financial down to cash, which was like a transformative experience for us like a year ago. But it really it drove alignment with the whole leadership. It was wild.
Yeah, we have pretty good alignment with the leadership team. And it was a big deal bringing the supervisors up and getting them immersed into the numbers.
It's like an eye-opening that they have,
Oh yeah.
They finally understand.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this. And yes, when you finally open those books and just become more transparent.
Yeah.
And they get to see more of the back end of how this whole entire engine works.
Well, I think that for us anyways, sounds like it might be for you, was the key to unlocking better leaders was they just actually know the score. And then they started making decisions that I would have made, but in my stead. I mean, like cost savings decisions, or like they understand the game that we're now playing, which was helpful. So we're on a year of open books. So like at the end of the month, here's the P&L, here's what happened. Here's did cash go up or down? And that, it's been amazing.
I could see that.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot more ownership from everybody in the leadership team, especially the department supervisors, where they're empowered now to make some decisions to play the game versus just seeing some of the results and not understanding some of their moves that they're making and how they affect the numbers.
A fun thing, I'm curious if you guys have already done this, because it sounds like you did this way earlier than me. A fun thing we're doing is we're taking a P&L and like we're, instead of the number next to it, we're putting a name. Have you guys done that?
No.
No.
So that was something that we thought was kind of interesting, is it, because we're open book financial, how can we like drive like GL code alignment? Like, hey, you are responsible for this line on the P&L, and then we're going to print it out on a 4-foot tall sticker and like smack it around the office. But yeah.
So per department as well, right?
So it's going to be the rolled up P&L.
Okay.
And then we'll go a little bit lower than that for frontline leaders.
Yeah.
But like who's accountable for materials and who's accountable for revenue? It was eye-opening. You would imagine we have stuff more put together than we do, but we're learning every day. And there's definitely some lines where like revenue doesn't sound complicated, ended up being a little complicated. Like because the way we've divided our company, it's lead. So like marketing, call center, dispatch, and like the lead side of the business, the sale, and the fulfillment. So like that's how the org structure is set up. That's how everything is set up, is like we tried to make it as simple as humanly possible. But revenue gets complicated because is it sales or is it fulfillment? Because like they're both sort of doing it. And the actual revenue is achieved by the install team. Like sales doesn't do the revenue, install team does the revenue. So they're really trying to nail down who's accountable for what, who's accountable for the lines below that. Got kind of interesting because there was mixed accountabilities between two senior leaders. So, hey, two directors are potentially in charge of revenue. Well, who owns it?
I could see this as an issue coming up as we scale. And
yeah, it was an issue. We ended up landing on sales, I think, but which is that maybe sounds obvious. Like it even sounds obvious to me as I'm saying it, but for the last year, that's been fulfillment. Like revenue is fulfillment. Like they're the ones that complete the job. So that revenue is their deal. So that was like, sort of like, okay, wow, this is interesting.
It sounds a lot like the rabbit hole of where did the lead come from?
Oh yeah. Attributions.
Whole nother.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So day to day, you are running operations. You're sitting in the EOS visionary role.
Yes.
And you're running the marketing and
together
PR and like community sounds like. Yeah.
We come together when we make larger company decisions together.
What are some examples, like acquisition? Like, hey, let's
acquisition. Sometimes it has to do with employees.
Growth areas where we want to expand to, just stuff we're looking at.
Bigger picture.
Bigger picture, year down the road, 3-5 years down the road.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little bit about the acquisition earlier this year.
That was interesting.
That was very interesting.
Yeah. All right. I'm even more interested now.
Well, this was our first one, and we wanted to mess up on.
Is there going to be more?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
All right,
sweet. Solid.
So our first one came through a friend of ours that was doing a sign for this guy. And he was looking to retire, wanted somebody that was multi-trade to be able to take care of his customers.
He wanted somebody like him. Yeah. That's what he wanted.
Did he find it?
Don't sell it short. Oh yeah. He loves Brian.
Yeah, we were we were cut from the same cloth. And
he wanted to make sure his customers were taken care of in the same manner they were used to being taken care of.
Yeah.
I think we've exceeded.
All right.
And we get plenty of reviews back where we've blown their mind.
Yeah.
But, it's a bigger operation and, sometimes that comes with more services, more amenity, just different opportunities that a shop the size of his doesn't have the ability to do. So there's some benefits.
Yeah, there is.
How many people did it have?
He was down to 2 technicians,
and
himself and somebody in the office.
So is that like a $500,000, $1 million?
Yes. Yeah, it was like a $500,000 business. He had up to 14 people, a few years prior, and then he was just
whittling it down.
70, I think, and was just done. And so the last couple of years had really just dropped. But this was, so one of the things that we learned was looking at somebody's books a little better, being able to get access to their customer list. We still have yet we've done pretty well in that area of acquiring customers, but we still don't even have a proper mailing list.
No.
When they came to the table and we were doing negotiations, they brought 2 large
Yes.
Rolodexes.
Yep.
Literally.
Yeah, I've seen
Handwritten.
I've seen this.
Yes.
It's like,
We've had to not take them on. Like, we're like, I can't,
mean,
I will not get enough out of this deal to devote the resource that it's going to take to deal with this.
I feel like we're at the point where we're literally going to have to hire somebody to just do data entry because I mean, there's a ton of customers in there.
Yeah.
But on the other side, flip side of that, word has gotten out and we've had enough trucks in that area. We're getting calls. We took over their number. So
is it in Toledo? Like, is it in, okay. Is it also, it's also very,
it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But, they're very appreciative customers. And in those communities, you have to remember, I try and remind him of the big picture, word about a new company that's doing really well spreads like wildfire. Like, they might have neighbors 10 miles away, but they're going to call them. So getting our name out in that area has not really been a difficult thing because the customers have been so happy with us.
Yeah.
And I think it went a long way. Brian actually went over to the shop and he kind of did a
little PR tour. Kissing babies,
hugging. I'm exaggerating, but it kind of was because how many coffee shops and
we just went around and he introduced me to
the whole town.
How far is it from your current or like
close to an hour?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So are you guys thinking about merging it, or are you thinking about like what do you think?
Separate location. So we'll set up a little warehouse and a hub out of there. But we've been training everybody at our current location.
Just figuring out how that makes sense to add another, manager, tech.
Yeah.
Call, it's call center there. We still run it at our current location, those kind of things.
As we have been thinking about scaling up, right? And going to different locations, it uncovered a lot of inefficiencies in our own warehouse, in our own operation.
Yeah.
We're like, if we got to duplicate this, even at a smaller scale, we got to get our stuff together in-house first. So that's what we've really been working on.
Yeah.
So I feel like the small acquisition and the small business that we took over was really good because we've learned a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't want to buy a large company and go through all of those learning curves. That could be really expensive.
Yeah.
So
it's been a very valuable training experience. And I think we took a lot away from it. So I think it was a good move and, gave us an extra coverage area, more customers. And,
did you feel like you were capped at your current?
No.
Yeah, no.
Just like an opportunity that came up.
Yeah, it was just an opportunity. And, I think it always goes back to the original goal. Like we're here to help customers and being able to grab a whole nother section of customers that we can help. That's the goal at the end of the day is just to help more people.
This is a model I'm seeing more and more. So like conventional wisdom would be, we ran multi-location for almost exactly what you're doing for like 2 years, 3 years. Because we bought a bunch of businesses in 2021. 3. We bought 9 total, but 3 in 2021. And then we ran all 3 of those separately, like different locations. And they were all just here around like Cleveland-ish, like, within the farthest one was an hour.
Okay.
And learned a lot. And we now operate in 1. So we did that a couple of years ago.
Do you still occupy locations?
No.
Okay. No physical brick and mortar.
Yeah, I think where we were different than what you guys are doing is we did a smaller, like half or less than the size you guys were at when you did yours. So we were like $3 million.
Okay.
So we didn't have
structure.
Like we didn't have anything. Yeah. I don't know why we thought we could do it.
You didn't know any better.
Yeah, I didn't. So we did it. Yeah. And we lived. But yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, I'm seeing this smaller locations going multi-location sooner than it used to be, right? So like what it used to look like, and I think industry norm is like a plant then expand. So 20 to 30 million, your headquarters is 2030, and then you start popping an hour away, an hour away, an hour away. And I'm meeting more and more people running like more of a shared, like, hey, 5 million here, 5 million here, 5 million here. Like, I don't know if you guys see Call Dad, but Matt down there is running, I think they're 35 or 40 this year with 8 locations.
Fair.
Friend of ours, Mike Wilson, he's a one-tom plumber, no relation. Great last name though. He's a one-time plumber, and he has, I think, 3 or 4 locations, each doing $2 to $3 million. It's just interesting, and mostly driven rural. And I think that's a response to PE, because we're just seeing more and more people running these rural. We're like, hey, it's more community focused. I can't go, and I'm not PE, but like that's a harder market for PE to work in because the market's not big enough.
Yeah.
Like, how can you meaningfully compete in a market with 40,000 people or 30,000 people? You need 1 million. Yeah. So it's an interesting model that's like starting to emerge and kind of like big. There's some big players. Matt is probably the biggest one I know, but it's interesting.
The clients, the customers are super receptive. And I think that was another filter that we had to remove as well, that they're small towns and they're very loyal to the local plumber, the local electrician.
Yeah.
And most of them don't know what they're doing business wise, right?
The local person does.
It's still the old model.
Yeah.
And, how are these customers going to react to, the prices we have to charge?
Yeah.
And it hasn't been an issue at all. They just love the process. They love all the options, things that they never knew that they could get that they were never offered. But obviously you don't have the volume. You don't have that huge, area to work in. And it's a lot of extra windshield time. Have to get involved in those little communities as well. So we're trying to find technicians that live in those areas to plant trucks and be visible in those areas.
Yeah. Does the place you're at have like a college or a main street or university or?
No.
In our current location or
either, I guess either.
Current. Yes.
Yeah.
There is university and everything.
That was Chad's. We had Chad on the show about 1.5 years ago, I think. And that was his measurement because he did this too. So he went multi-location at 15, which again, conventional wisdom, like that's early, but like obviously it worked. He's $100 million. And he chose small communities where they were not very competitive. Like you could go in and win somewhat easily, versus like a Cleveland or Indianapolis or something. And his measurement for is it big enough is do they have a college, which I thought was interesting. Do they have a college? Do they have a downtown? And you start seeing that a lot at like 40,000, 50,000 people.
Yeah, no, the acquisition is super small.
They have a couple stoplights.
Yeah, you guys are driving.
As our measurement.
Yeah. So how are you thinking about growing that?
Just really having our plan was to have more of a visible brick and mortar location and be able to operate out of there.
Yeah.
The challenges I feel that we are going to have with that is having somebody that's self-supervising.
Sure.
We have a couple of warehouses right now that are separate from our existing office. And that was a huge challenge that we ran into was having that separate location, even a couple miles away, and having the people be self-supervising.
Yeah.
You really have to have the right person that's going to take on that role.
Yeah.
If not, there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on and inefficiencies.
And I feel like if you're going to have that few people to make an impact, they need to be involved in the community. It's so rural and they're so tight knit. You really have to be to make an impact.
Are you looking to grow your home service business with a steady and predictable stream of high intent leads? Well, Modernize helps contractors scale with 4 powerful tools: inbound calls, live transfers, and branded programs, all designed to connect you with homeowners who are ready to start projects right now. They've delivered over 9 million leads, generated $4 billion in revenue, and support more than 25 trades across the country. Whether you've maxed out LSAs or you need leads to fill a revenue gap, Modernize is your growth lever from inquiry to install. Click the link below to start driving consistent growth with Modernize. In a rural environment, how do leads work? Like, how does that work? I would have to imagine it's slightly different than how I compete.
I think that making sure that you have the right combination of marketing avenues, but also, and I don't know if I'm answering your question how you really intended it, but
I'll tell you if you don't.
just making sure that you have the right mix and that you take in like the basics of marketing, making sure that you know your audience and be where they're going to actually see you. We've got a lot of industry in our area. A lot of them are just going to work, going to their kids' games, going home. That's kind of where some of the community aspect of it comes from.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to reach some of these folks, it can be difficult. They're not necessarily, I'm trying to plant seeds before they ever even need to call us. And, are they going to ball games every single week? Yeah, a lot of them are. So we do a lot in the community with purchasing banners that hang on a lot of these schools' fences for a lot of the different games, basketball, baseball, all that sort of thing.
We do a lot of billboards.
We do a ton of billboards, probably the most billboards in our area. They seem to be extremely effective. We have a ton of people who specifically talk about the trucks and or the billboards, and I see you everywhere. I see you on the billboards. So just going back to the right mix of the traditional, knowing exactly the matrix of what works for you to make the phone ring and doing good handoffs between departments, from the calls that come in to the call center to dispatch to the technician, just making sure that there's no holes in that whole process.
Would you say it is competitive for leads? I think rural's fascinating to me. So I'm sorry, I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole here, but I just think it's so interesting.
I would say it can be.
Are you the biggest in your market?
I would say yes.
I would have to imagine the size of market.
Yeah.
You guys are big.
There's a couple of smaller shops. There's a couple one man truck. And I always hate that term because there's so many women in the field now that you really need to include them as well. But
we have a number of other larger companies that are in our area and even in the rural areas, but they do a lot of new construction, commercial, industrial, and and they have a couple service guys.
Yeah.
I just don't think their focus is as laser focused as ours. They're going to go wherever the money takes them. And I don't know that they really have a plan. And I feel like, with Nexstar's, business planning and ways to make sure that you're very dialed in on what your goal is and how you're going to accomplish that, just makes us a bit stronger of a company than somebody who's just flying by the seat of their pants, which is, I think, what most of them are doing. So, when we think about marketing, it's more making sure that people make the connection between the brand, no matter which avenue we're going down for marketing, and making sure that stays the same, across the different platforms. And I think it makes a huge impact because, when people call in and they can't even tell you exactly, well, I saw you here, but I also saw you here. And, that sometimes is a challenge for the call center to know where where the accountability lies for that lead. But I think we've gotten things dialed in enough that I hate to say this even out loud, but I don't really worry about our competition that much because they don't seem to be as focused as we are. And I think that makes a huge difference.
It sounds like most of the spend is like branded spend. Is like LSA as much of a...
Yeah, we have a pretty beefy LSA paid.
Yeah.
We contract out. We use Camp. They're a Nexstar preferred vendor. We also use Johnson Media they do a lot of negotiation for us for broadcast and cable. We do pretty much everything. Just making sure the mix is where it needs to be. You know, adjusting that when it needs to be adjusted and checking, what's working and what's not working. But I try and make sure that we hit everybody multiple times in some way, shape, or fashion.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys are going to win. I think like when I hear one of the advantages of like small town, there's like it's both an advantage and a disadvantage, and it depends on who you're talking to. But the advantage is it's winnable. Like it's winnable. Like by having a marketing strategy and just spending money, like you'll probably win. You'll win the market. but the downside is like there's a cap. So how big can it ever get? Yeah. But I don't know if it depends on the person. That might not be a downside at all. But
I don't look at it as there being a cap. I think our town is a little bit, and you can correct me if you don't agree, but we have so many different industries that are changing out so often. We have the corporate for Marathon. The corporate offices are in our town. Yeah. We've got the corporate offices for what used to be Cooper.
Cooper Tire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
because auto has to be a thing, and Toledo's glass, right? A lot of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of industry that's changing out. Yeah. They've got a lot of people coming in and leaving. So you've got different people with different needs coming in and out all the time. So I don't know. Is there really a cap? We haven't found it yet, and we're planning on expanding our area. So I don't know. I think that's just kind of our mantra to roll with it and just figure out a way. That's what we've always done, is just figured out a way to make it work.
I think one of the key areas for the rural is most of the people that live out in the rural area have lived there for a long time and continue to live there. Yeah. And they're more willing to invest in their home and to see options to fix things or upgrade things. And
I think it opens up a lot of things that might be less typical inside. Like generators are probably every single house. It is different. Yeah.
Yeah. They have more invested. Yeah. So they're willing to take care of it a little bit more than the transient person who's not going to be there forever. I mean, some of those people have been there for 80 plus years. Yeah. So
yeah, that's a lot.
There's great opportunities though, but you have to have technicians that are flexible. Yeah. Because you got a well system versus city water system. You got softener systems, great opportunities. But if you just focused in the city and then you don't have those skills, then you got to have the right technician to send out to those areas.
I think it builds their skills, not just, it builds their skills because they have to think on their feet. That's kind of one of the things that we look for in new people. Are you an out of the box thinker? Can you, adjust on the fly? Because those are definitely skills that the technicians are going to need on a daily basis. Yeah. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that people come to our particular area, because there is a challenge daily. And especially the younger generation, they seem to thrive on that. They seem to thrive on daily change and being able to, be creative with the solutions that they're offering the customer.
How does labor work in a smaller market? And this is something where my question is coming from. We're Cleveland. So Cleveland, like 3.5 million people. So like we can always find someone. It just usually takes more money, but we can always find someone. And a concern or like something we've thought about is like, okay, do we take, and you can hear us muse on this over like a 2-year period of like, how do we think about market expansion? Do we want more Cleveland, like Cincinnati, like big cities, or is there opportunity in 100 to 300,000 population? And our biggest concern is how does labor work? Like, how do you bring on the team members, and what does that training ramp look like? Because if I went to a Cincinnati, there's like 40 Nexstar companies, right? Like I can find people that are trained on Nexstar. So that solves like a whole series of problems that I would have to figure out on my own if I launched in Youngstown.
For sure. And I think you are correct. I think you have to change your mindset when you think about hiring technicians in a smaller area, because it's the long game. It's always going to be the long game. And I would much rather, pick up somebody who's got soft skills
Mhm.
and train them, take the time to train them on the service system and all the ways that we do do business differently, then try and take a seasoned person who has, junk for skills talking with the customer. That I can't. I mean, I can try, but we've learned over and over again, it doesn't work.
Mhm.
You have to have those skills. So I think for us, we just kind of figured out along the way that you have to invest in the people. And does that take a lot more time than you're talking about? Yeah, it takes a heck of a lot more time. But I think that we find they're more apt to stay longer
Mhm.
because we've invested so much into them and built that relationship. So, we're not only building relationships with customers, but we're building long-standing relationships with our employees as well. And I think it's just a different mindset to how you're going to hire.
Like we're getting a lot of the people from factories or from trade schools coming in and applying, and from different industries, and we're just very open to that. And just like she said, they thrive in that freedom to be kind of creative.
Mhm.
And when we just train in-house and on the technical side, and the customers just love that.
Yeah. How many people a year are you like training? And how long does it take? Like 2 years, 1 year?
It can take two years to fully train, sometimes 4, and it really depends on the individual.
Mhm.
We've been using Nextech
Yeah.
through Nexstar to train a lot of the super green people who come in. But it really depends on the individual. Like I had an electrician who went through the entire Nextech program in 2 months,
Mhm.
which is mind blowing. That's a lot of content and a lot of videos
Mhm.
and a lot of checkoff to make sure they know what they're doing. So it really just depends on the individual, on their capacity to learn at a faster pace. But somebody who already has the knowledge, and you're really just working on refining their service system. And how long would you say for that?
6 months. Yeah. It's really tough because you're trying to plug in a person into a department, and you want them to be productive and be able to bring revenue in in the shortest amount of time.
Right.
And that's not,
It's not always ideal.
yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, you got to think out 6 months. So we've went to a little bit different model on our staffing, and I don't know that we have anybody, maybe a couple of HVAC technicians, but most everybody has a trainee that's in their truck right now. So we're just trying to get ahead of that curve on the staffing.
It's something that I think once you get it in your head that you have to constantly be hiring and constantly be training all the time, all the time. It's just something that you have to do to maintain that steady stream of individuals coming in to build them all up to be that revenue producing tech.
Yeah.
It's just a constant have to.
Yeah.
And especially now, I mean, there's less and less coming in to the trades. And I have high hopes for the newer generations of realizing, you can make a really good living not going to a 4-year college, and you can just come right on into the trades, and I'll welcome you with open arms. Like, come on in.
You've got the data on this because of your work with Explore the Trades.
Yes.
But like I'll give a vibe. So this is, zero facts, all vibes over here.
Okay.
My vibe is that there are more and more young people joining the trades every day. I mean, TikTok, I think this was just on either Wall Street Journal or New York Times, but like TikTok is driving like a trades revolution for exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to make $100,000 at 25 and you can buy a house and you don't need college debt. Like that's a hell of a pitch.
It is. And I feel like it's finally getting heard because,
TikTok.
there's TikTok, but it's finally getting, I feel like it went backwards. It's like it's gotten from industry and finally into the schools, and the schools are finally getting the point that, oh, I don't have to tell them all they have to go to college, because I could almost quote Mike Rowe, for how many years have we been shoving it down everybody's throat that you have to go to a 4-year college and you don't?
Mm-hmm. It's a funny anecdote about my life.
Okay.
Is I was not a very good student. So I became a plumber, right? But I was not a very good student. And in junior of high school, I had a teacher that told me, hey, if you don't get your grades up, you're going to end up being a plumber. And she was right. But here we are today, 160 employees later.
Don't you want to just walk into their office and be like,
no,
really?
No, I won.
Won.
But I do think it's funny because it's sort of like, yeah.
It's the
and
exact.
I'm really glad that happened.
I have a similar actual experience like that. My guidance counselor told me not to bother going to college because I'd never make it. And it's the exact opposite. I got my degree and here I sit, but they never would have, I just think the point is stop trying to push them in areas that they don't want to go. Yeah. If they don't like school, they don't like, doing what they're doing. If they want to explore other options, give them other options. I mean, I'm not opposed to 4-year college. So obviously, we need that for other trades. Mm-hmm. If you want a doctor, you're hoping they're going to be licensed. So it has its place, but don't forget there's other areas, other conversations to be had about opportunities. Don't just shut the door. Don't even tell them the door exists. I mean, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, you can go down women in the trades and how that was unheard of. Mm-hmm. My grandfather actually ran the same type of business that we have. Mm-hmm. It was never, ever brought up, ever. Yeah. Ever even occurred to him. He had 2 daughters. Yeah. And it never even occurred to him to ever pass down his information. It all died with him.
That's wild.
And it's sad. All that knowledge that just went to the wayside. Mm-hmm. And quit assuming what's best for the kids that you have influence over and start asking more questions instead of, this is what you need to do. Well, what do you want to do? What are you good at? I think that's another conversation. What are you good at? And where do you want to be? Because if you just tell them what they have to do, they're going to go do that. And then 4 years later, they're going to have $500,000 in debt and they're still going to be lost.
Yeah. I think we'll have a boom here shortly. I think it's already started, but I don't know how much of your business so far has been impacted by AI, but I mean, it's a thing. So I think the more that we see AI take over more of the jobs that were entry level or even knowledge worker jobs, the next best earning is the trades. So I think it'll be interesting to see Gen Z is already there with TikTok and hey, no college debt. Hey, a lot of money. There's a lot of good here. What happens when the 30 and 40-year-olds start getting displaced from jobs that were historically safe, but between offshoring and AI, they don't exist anymore? Do accounting jobs exist anymore? I think that that's a real question that I think most of the industry is trying to figure out. I think the next 5 years are going to be fascinating because we have Gen Z really coming into their own and a large portion of the country being displaced, and they got to put food.
I think that's a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. You're talking about the 30 and 40-year-olds because the young generation, the 20, the 20-year-olds that are coming in, they have their own challenges of maturity and life skills that they don't have yet. Yeah, that we all have to deal with. So I think about somebody that's in their 30s and 40s and have a lot of life skills. That'd be a great transition into the trades.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, no, I think so too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I don't really have stats to back this up, but it sure feels like plumbing is going to be really big.
The business,
yeah,
plumbing's great.
Yeah, plumbing's awesome.
Plumbing's great.
It just feels like
it's less AI-able. I mean, that's a part of this too. Yeah. There is already with the Google Glasses, AI can diagnose furnace problems. So that is a part of is there a displacement there, or likely less of a displacement and more, hey, we can onboard an HVAC tech in 30 days because AI does all of the work instead of, years of experience now. Yeah. Whereas plumbing, that feels harder. AI is probably not going to drill a drain.
No, they're not. And I feel like plumbing always has this this like unspoken, like you got to want to be dealing with some of the worst parts of a house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's the reason that it's expensive, because you got to want to do that. Not everybody wants to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We kind of have a saying that it just equals money.
Mm-hmm.
Like poo equals money. That's just the name of the game. But that's not something that AI is going to go do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would agree. That just backs up the whole theory that no, I think plumbing is going to do really well, because you're still going to have people to physically do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a list. Microsoft dropped this list of like what's going to be displaced, what's most likely to be displaced, what's least likely to be displaced, and then the number of jobs associated with each displacement. Really interesting read. Plumbing was not on the least likely or the most likely.
Really?
But when I looked at it, I was like, plumbing should be on here. Like,
it should be.
Yeah. I mean, some of them were like concrete work, which honestly has been already displaced. I don't know if you've seen those remote control. Like, like they can already do that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
Sometimes too, I have to wonder, like, you know, big city, I think that's another factor for rural. You know, big city has bigger companies and bigger ability to kind of take on some of that new technology.
Yeah.
What's
a race to innovation? Yeah.
And I can pretty much guarantee there's a lot of companies in our area.
Yeah.
They don't have that ability. So that's not going to affect them now, maybe down the road. But, you know, maybe it's just a fact of a slower pace of.
You have less of there's less people pushing you towards it, probably. Whereas, I mean, it depends. I mean, in a big city, you could also just not be pushed, which is fine. The way that we like, you know, we like to push. So, for us, we're losing a little bit of our hunger to be the first out of the gate with everything, just because like disruption now costs a lot of like real dollars. But we want to innovate. We want to keep taking share. So, we feel pushed into it.
We've been using a lot of AI internally for operational things.
Yeah. What are some examples?
We use a lot of it in throughout teams and with different forms, communication,
tracking, lots of tracking. That's, you know, when you talked about your dashboard out there, instead of trying to hire or find somebody that can make that, we're doing that in-house.
Yeah.
Just bringing a lot of technology, a lot of tracking, a lot of display, just anything that we can automate, we're doing it.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the craziest parts is like the ability to develop apps. Half the dashboards you guys saw as you walked through the office, like we internally developed.
Yeah.
Like with lovable.dev is the name of it, but like $20 a month and you can start just whipping up web apps. It's crazy. I think we're 10 or 12 deep at this point. We've
been just really blessed to the fact that our director of ops, he already had a lot of those schools, a lot of those.
He was a nerd. You need him.
Yep.
You need him.
Yeah.
He came to us from kind of the corporate world. So there's a lot of skills that he brought with him that we just didn't have, just because that's not kind of the business model that we run.
Yeah.
But his ability to adapt all of those great things that come out of some of that has been really invaluable in driving us forward to be more efficient and more modern and you know,
more streamlined.
Yeah, more streamlined. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what is next for Beltz? We've added a new location, figuring out growth. We're building a new building. I don't think we said that on air, but we're building a new building. So what's next? What does the next couple of years look like for you guys?
Some more acquisitions and more growth.
Where do you see acquisitions? Like our way, like that type of model, or like you guys want to buy me?
The smaller towns.
2 hours away?
Smaller towns.
Yeah. No giggles. I like that. I was like, come on, let's do this.
I was reaching.
It was reaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this on the way over, you know, just the goals for the business in general and just trying to bring our services to as many people as possible, you know, however that makes sense for us. And I think that our particular area is just so rich with opportunity. You know, you've got a lot of, I'm sure, like you had mentioned, the PEs, they look at these different areas and they just don't think it's worth the time, or it's not worth.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what makes this just fascinating to me is like, we're looking at our next markets, and both for greenfield, which like we're launching, or acquisitions. And it's tough. Like, we've looked at deals and they have 40,000 people. And I'm like, I don't know what I would do there. Like, I just don't know what I would do there. And
Win.
you would definitely like, we would definitely win, that part sounds really fun. It's like, oh, you could, like, if you take the level of competitive that we have to be here, like,
it's so much,
you would just win in like a day. But it caps. And that's, I think, where I struggle with it is like, can you get to 20 million? Can you get to 30 million? And
add
you
more
probably
of those.
can.
You just add more.
Yes.
No, I mean, each market, each market.
20 million in each of those markets.
Yeah. It gets, so this is something that we're thinking about. I don't know if this helps you or not, but this is how we're currently thinking about it. It is really, especially 3 trade. It is hard, and you guys are in it, but it's hard to run a 3 trade company under like 15 million. It's hard under 10. It's hard under 5. 3 trades is hard. Like, I
think 3 trades is hard, period.
3 trades is hard, period. Totally. And the smaller you are, the harder it is. Like, you just don't have the infrastructure. You don't have the experts in all 3 because you can't, because it's just not big enough to have it. Like, as far as management or trainers or, whatever. So a lot, when like PE or larger operators, which I'm not considering myself a part of that cohort, are looking at new markets to launch into, and they're 3 trade, the goal is like 10 million by end of year 2, because it's really hard to hire the team you need under 8 figures. And then by end of year 3, it's 15 to 20. So that's where most of them want to end up.
Because they're only looking at the number.
Well, how do I provide the resources somewhere else that I'm not? So how can I hire a best-in-class general manager? Well, that's going to cost a lot of money. Well, how do I hire the people that can run each trade? Well, that's also going to cost a lot of money. So this is now $2 million of salaries. Well, what can afford that? 20 million bucks. So that's how most of them see it, is it's hard to run an under 10 or $15 million location, which, like, that was most of my career. So
I don't know if we're on the same page on that.
This will be fascinating.
We have 3 different people that have come from corporate jobs.
Yeah.
And the culture that we have built, and our ability to adapt, make changes in a small business atmosphere, and to be able to really take care of customers and the employees. That's not something that you can do in a corporate world. I've never lived in that corporate world, but the feedback that we get from the people that have come from that world is like, yes, we made fantastic money in the corporate world, but we don't have this flexibility or the work-life balance,
happiness,
or the happiness. And so I think there's plenty of opportunities for somebody with those skill sets. Well,
there's way more opportunities is the real answer. I mean, there's more rural than there is big city. Yeah. So I think that's a part of the, like, it's an almost unlimited pie.
I get what you're saying, though. You're saying, it's a dollar sign equation.
It adds more complication. Yeah. And the way like a PE would approach it would be, what percentage of the market do they have? Can I grow this? If I'm paying a premium for this business, how much can I grow it so that premium becomes fair? And if someone already has 80% of the market, there's only 20% more. Versus, like, we have 6, and 6 is big in Cleveland. Like, that's a lot of freaking market. But we could go up to 15. So there's room,
Yeah.
I think you're asking the wrong question.
All right, lay it on me. Field Pulse is the all-in-one field management solution for growing home service companies. Field Pulse is designed to simplify your day-to-day operations by combining everything you need into one platform. It also includes integrations to help you save time, like QuickBooks Desktop and online. It has a bunch of advanced tools and features like a CRM, estimates and invoicing, good, better, best options, maintenance plans, a robust price book, and scheduling and dispatching. Field Pulse will transform the way that you manage your field teams. Altogether, it will save you time and find revenue that you didn't even know existed. Whether you're a small company that's looking to grow or a larger company looking to optimize, Field Pulse has the tools that you need to do it. And don't just take our word for it. Field Pulse has earned over 580 glowing reviews with an average rating of 4.8 stars. That's Field, P-U-L-S-E. Head to their website to learn more, fieldpulse.com.
I think it really is a completely different mindset because although, yes, at the end of the day, we have to look at revenue and we have to look at sustaining our business and growing our business. At the bottom line, it's about the people. And I think we have that luxury with the size that we are. And I'm not saying that, somewhere down the road that's going to be unsustainable. Probably. Sounds like where you're at, it's unsustainable because
maybe
you have to look at the more of the money bottom line. But I think where we're particularly at and how we run our business and how we hire people, it's more about the relationship than it is. I'm trying to think how to word this. Like, we know investing in them now is going to get us to the goal eventually. It's just not an overnight thing. It's a slow burn. It's just a slow burn that you have to invest in. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to answer your original question. Because the mindset is completely different on this side of the table. In a more rural market, you really have to think about your customers and what's best for them and be able to provide what they need. And you win every day because they know you do, therefore they call you. I mean, it's not rocket science in that. I feel like there's a whole lot more math that comes in when you're a much larger company and you're in a much larger.
And not founder led. I think that's where it gets hard too. Like if I was going to go launch something, me personally, the math is different.
Yeah.
But like if you're hiring people, number has to be bigger.
Yeah. Right. And I think he does have a good point though. You can get really good people who are willing to make that jump and who see the end vision.
Yeah.
And can see where that they will be down the road and that they will accomplish more and get more rewards, more than just money. And money will come. You just have to, I don't know, I hate to say sacrifice, but you just have to learn to dig in a little bit at the beginning so you can get the rewards at the end. Because it's so much of a different environment, the kind of culture that a smaller entity has than this corporate. And I think that's, they've had both of the two people he's speaking of, they've had their friends want to come as well. Yeah. Because they're hearing how their lives are going and, oh man, I want to get in on that. And it's like, you're not going to make as much, but you're going to be a heck of a lot happier. And I'm not saying that in the end you can. It's just
slow burn.
It's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Be willing to work for it.
So the next couple of years, we're building our building. We're acquiring. You might have said how far, like an hour away is typical, or are you thinking Indiana?
Down in Kentucky, we're looking.
Oh yeah,
down there as well.
Okay.
But we're looking at. We're trying to build right now like a franchise model. So we've got a number of people within the company that have raised their hands and said, I want to run. Yeah. I want to run a branch. I want to run an area.
And I don't think it's really. You're thinking more like expanding from a central location. And I think our thinking is more like, where can we go that this that we have, this model, this thought works best?
Yep.
Maybe that's, Northwest Ohio, and maybe it's down, rural Eastern Kentucky. Maybe it's, it's not necessarily, let's just keep going and going and going where we are. It's where does it work for us?
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think both work. I can think of examples of both. The standard playbook is an hour away, but I don't think we're going to follow that playbook. Some of it's going to be opportunistic. Like we have people in different states that we're talking to, and we'll partner with them, and that's going to work. if a few of them are more rural. So we're just like, I don't know. How willing are you to move? So I think that's part of it. But an hour away is like I would say normal playbook. But I don't know that it's as relevant as it was 10 years ago. Or
I would
15
agree
years
with
ago.
that.
I mean, the amount of tech that's out there now, like, I think the most important thing is like, does the platform work? Do you share buying? Can you get the actual efficiencies of scale? And that's where I see people mess up if they're going into like multi-state is, hey, yeah, I'm in 2 states, but what did that actually do for you? Like, is your buying better?
Mm-hmm.
Are you getting parts cheaper? Did you somehow get a benefit from being multi-state other than just saying you're multi-state?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's where people seem to trip that I've seen, but we're hoping as we're looking at it, it's how can we combine equipment purchasing to get better? How can we combine software purchasing to get better? What can we centralize here? Can we centralize sales, call center, dispatch, install coordination, permits, accounting, HR, marketing? Like, what can we centralize so that the actual benefit of each is like tangible and we don't just get to have it?
Right. And without having all of those different businesses,
right,
if you will, in those different locations.
Right. Because it makes size size less relevant, because if 5 million or 10 million becomes like really good at no matter how many trades, if they have no OpEx expense, because suddenly, oh, well, that's just $3 million of gross margin. Like, yeah, toss it my way. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I think that's how we're trying to approach it. See if it works.
We'll let you try it first.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Well, this was awesome. I appreciate you guys coming on.
No problem.
What are the like passing lessons here for people starting off in the trades?
Do it.
Jump
in with both feet.
Mm-hmm.
All in, follow the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nexstar sounds like a big win.
Oh,
they're a big win for us too.
Huge win. I think the other is people, because one of the big milestones was just all in with Nexstar, but the other one was getting the right people.
Oh yeah.
And when you have them, like it's plainly obvious when you have them, and it's plainly obvious when you don't.
Mm-hmm. How well do you sleep? How bad do you sleep?
Mm-hmm. How much do you stress?
Mm. How late can you show up to work? Mm-hmm. That's usually my measurement.
Oh no, he's there at the crack of dawn.
Yeah, that's always tough when you're growing.
Yeah,
is putting up with some of the people issues.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I mean that's the whole issue.
So you get to a certain point.
Yeah, that's almost the only problem that exists.
You don't want to deal with any of those, or you don't deal with any of those.
Yeah,
and you draw the line and let people go.
Yeah,
I think that probably is another lesson. Just if you know it's not a good fit, it's not working, even though it's going to be painful, get rid of them.
Yep,
because they're poisoning your culture more than you will ever know.
Yeah,
just get rid of them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Slow to hire, quick to fire. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have one more too. When you have an applicant who comes in, whatever you see in that interview is the best you're ever going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Great words. I can't even remember who told me that. It was in a Nexstar event though.
Well,
it's so real.
It is so real.
It's so real.
It's so true.
If there's like a beige flag in that interview, it's like, yeah, we are actually good.
That stuck with me as well. This is the best you're ever going to see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
For sure. You got any more pearls of wisdom?
I don't.
These were great.
Yeah.
Good pearls.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. If you like what you heard, make sure you check out ownedandoperated.com.